Hi guys, so today I'm in a Kia Sorento, and I know this is sort of, I think Kia had this name a few years back of being this very steady, boring brand of car, and they just pumped out some very standard cars. They pumped out the Kia Rio, the Kia Ceed, you know, just sort of basic small hatchbacks and this, that and the other. They also produce the Sorento. Obviously the Sorento's been running a long time, and they do things like the Sedona, which is the people carrier and things like that. But they've never really had much of a name, really. It's certainly not a name that can attract a lot of money. And then they released two cars. They released the Sorento on the 2015, I believe. This is 2019 we're in today, on the 15. And they released a Kia Stinger, which is the more modern one. I think that was about a 17 or an 18 when they released the Stinger. Now the Stinger just sort of really opened them up, because the Stinger was this Gran Turismo vehicle that a guy from, I believe it was BMW, left BMW and did some styling for them, came and did this. And it's a really, really nice looking thing. Take the Kia badge off, stick an Audi, a BMW, a Mercedes badge, and then you'd be like, wow, that's it. But it's got the Kia badge on, the Kia stigma's still attached to a degree. And that brings me to this Sorento. This Sorento is a really good looking thing. It's a 7-seat vehicle, so it's a family vehicle in theory, but you drop the seats in it, the two rear seats, you drop them and they go completely flush into the floor. You wouldn't even know they're there, and you've got a whacking great big boot on the thing. It's got a power tailgate on it that goes up and down automatically with the key or with the press of a button. If you stand near the tailgate, it raises up after 3 or 4 seconds, so that's really, really handy if you've got loads of stuff in your hands. And it's got the parcel shelf cover that's retractable, and there's a little space for it in the floor. So the rear end of it, they've really nailed. Plenty of room for more people and plenty of room for your luggage and carrying things about. They've thought of everything there. But then when you get inside, when you look at the outside of the car, Kia do a KX1, a KX2, a KX3. They're sort of the trim levels going up. And then they do a GT line, and they do a GT Line S. So this is the GT Line S, which is the absolute top spec. And one thing I like about Kia and the way they do things is they don't allow you to do what BMW and Mercedes and Audi and all the sort of main brands do, where you say, yeah, okay, I want an AMG line, Mercedes E-Class, and they give you this car and you think, yeah, that's great, but I wanted this on it, and I wanted that on it, I wanted this on it. Everything's an optional extra that you can pay for. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, because obviously that keeps the cost of the top spec vehicle lower than it needs to be, so that you're not paying for things that you don't need. You're not paying for massage seats if you don't need massage seats. But what Kia decided to do was make this top spec absolutely fully loaded with everything you could ever need, and then that's it. Then you're good to go. You've not got the options of, oh, I need to add this, I need to add that. So what that means is that the specification on this vehicle is absolutely outstanding. So being the GT Line S, there's a few styling differences on the outside. So you've got the LED headlights and daytime running lights, fog lamps and things like that. You've got the rear LED lights. They look really, really nice. You've got the big alloys, and in between the alloys you've got the red calipers, which really stand out and look nice. And it sounds daft talking about these sorts of things on a Kia, because they're not things that you generally associate with a Kia, but they really do look nice. You've got the side steps on it, which are aluminium topped. They look really nice. So that's sort of, and the privacy glass on the rear as well. That's sort of the styling on the outside, which when you drive past another Kia on the road, another Sorento on the road, sorry, there's not a GT Line S. There's a big difference, and you look at it and you think, it's missing this, and this, and you can identify it quickly when you know what you're looking for. But you come inside, and the specification inside, you've got these really, really comfy leather seats that are a really nice seat to sit in. You've got the GT Line embroidery on the seats, and that continues into you've got these seats in the back as well, in the very back. The rear seats, the two rear seats in the vehicle of the 7 seats, are proper seats, comfortable seats. They're not sort of these flimsy dicky seats like you used to get in an old Discovery or something like that. They're a really comfy seat to sit in. The middle row's on a bar, so you can slide it forward and backwards, so you can move yourself. You can give the rear seat passengers a comfortable space to sit, and it will comfortably house 7 people in this car, and 7 adults in this car, and you can drive a fair distance like that. The middle seats, sorry, if the rear seats are down or you don't get anyone sat there, the middle seats do recline as well, so you can lean them back or sit them up, or however you wish. You've got heated seats in the rear, not in the very back, but in the middle row you've got heated seats. In the front you've got heated seats and you've got chilled seats, which on a summer's day, when the leather's piping hot when you get in and you've been parked in the sun all day, you stick them on, and before the aircon's even kicked in the car, these things are cool, and it's a really, really nice feeling, this cold back and backside when you're boiling hot and you want to cool down quickly. So I really do like the chilled seats, and they're fantastic. Then you've got a heated steering wheel, which is great for them winter mornings to go along with the heated seats. You've got, and as far as safety features on the car, you've got things like lane keep assist, which I've never driven a car with lane keeping assist that's quite as good as this. I'm due to take a Tesla out, so we'll see. I think that might pip it. But basically, you're going along, and most cars will beep, vibrate, and maybe correct you slightly if you go over the white line. If you're going on the motorway in this, or you're going on a dual carriageway at speed with good white lines, it detects the white lines and it keeps you in them. It keeps you smack bang in the middle of them. And at first, you're sort of fighting the steering wheel a bit because you're thinking, no, I want to be there, and it's telling you that. You can turn it off. But basically, it keeps the car completely plumb in the middle of these lines. And you're going along and you can follow a curve on a motorway, and don't advise that you take your hands off, but you can take your hands off the steering wheel and it just literally the car tracks the lines. It really is something to be in, because I've driven tons of cars that have got lane keeping assist but nothing like this. So it's got the lane keeping assist. It's also got collision avoidance system, so you shouldn't go into the back of someone. It'll beep at you first, then it'll slam on and stop you going into the back of someone. It's got blind spot monitoring as well. So as you're driving along, if someone comes up the side of you, it doesn't detect if they're already there, but if someone comes up the side of you and you're looking either at your wing mirrors, you'll see a little orange light come on, which tells you that there's someone there and your blind spots, to be mindful of it. If you then put your indicator on to pull out and you've ignored that thing, it will then beep at you to say, hang about, there's someone there. So it's saving lives, it's saving car crashes, it's saving pedestrian accidents, it's saving you damaging your vehicle. They've really thought of everything from a safety point of view. You've also got the fact that if you deviate over the white lines, it'll beep at you. So I'm not talking, obviously on the motorway, as I said, it will keep you in them lanes anyway. But if you're on a normal road and it can see a white line, it'll beep at you if you go over them lines, which is great. So that just sort of keeps you alert and awake. It's also got the camera to recognise the number plate, to recognise the speed signs. So we've got the speed sign shown on the sat nav, we've got the speed sign shown on the dash, we've got the sat nav you can pair your phone to it, obviously for Bluetooth audio. It's got Android Auto, it's got CarPlay, but you can also pair your phone and use the personal hotspot on your phone to provide accurate data for the maps. So it's aware of traffic jams, it's aware of new road layouts, it'll find petrol stations, it'll show you the prices on the map, it'll find car parks and show you how much it is to park. The things that it does are really, really impressive. It's Harman Kardon sound system, which sounds great. It's keyless go and keyless entry. It's got a wireless phone charger. I feel like I'm just doing an advert for a Kia Sorento here, because there's that much spec to list. I just want to tell you about it. There's just that many features. So it's got a wireless charger as well. So the only thing that I disagree with that, and this is a criticism of most manufacturers, is they don't have wireless CarPlay in most cars. The only car that I've been in that's had it's the Mini, and I think new cars are starting to bring it in now. But this is a 2019 on a 69, and this hasn't got wireless CarPlay. So you have to plug your phone in for CarPlay and for Android Auto, but it's got the wireless charger. So I think, well, I wouldn't use the CarPlay because I'd always just throw it on the wireless charger and mess about with wires. So if they married the two together, that would have just been the perfect combination. But albeit it's still a great thing. It's got the front and rear parking sensors. It'll park itself into a bay. It'll park itself parallel parking. It's also got the 360 camera on it, so you can see all round. You've got curved views, you can see in front, you can see behind. It's great, you can knock them on and off when you need them. You've also got the full pan roof with a sunblind that goes over that, and I think we're about there with the spec that this car's got now. I think we've sort of covered the list of all the features that it's got. You've got chromatic mirrors and to stop glare and things like that. I think we're just about there with the spec. So I'm sorry if I went on a bit there and bored you, but I just think I've been in brand new Range Rovers with less specification in this car. It's just all it's short of really now is a massage seat, and it's complete. There's nothing else it needs. It's just they've made it such a highly specified vehicle, and that's why they've made it that You don't need any optional extra because you've got every conceivable optional extra you could want on a car is on this car already. You can make choices about things like the colour of the interior, the colour of the exterior, the colour of the alloy wheels, but aside from that, you go for the GT Line S. You will never need to want for anything else. The other thing with Kias is they come with a 7-year warranty. So there's two things to be said with that. One, peace of mind for 7 years. If you're going to buy this car from new, you've got 7 years of trouble-free motoring where you're not worried about a thing. The second thing to look at that with me, the second way I would look at that as well is a 7-year warranty. If a manufacturer can put a 7-year warranty on a car, bearing in mind most are 3, some are now 5 but most are 3, that says a lot about the car to me, because Kia aren't going to want this car coming back to them like a boomerang because it's got this wrong with it, that wrong with it, this wrong with it, that wrong with it, they're having to pay out for in warranty repairs. So if they're saying there's a 7-year warranty on it, they're saying there's a 7-year warranty on this vehicle because it's going to last, do you know, and it's going to do someone good for 7 years. I remember speaking to a Kia dealer once, and he said once they've sold these vehicles, they very rarely see them again. He said because what tends to happen is someone buys one and they run it till it dies, which might be 20, 25 years, and then they'll go and buy another one. And he said that's sort of how they operate really, these Kias. He said they're not cars where people, you know, say, oh yeah, I want the new one now, or I want to change this, or I want to change that. It's got the 7 seats, it's got plenty of room, it's got all the tech you could ever imagine, and you're away, and it's reliable, and it doesn't break, and it's cheap to run. It's got 43 grand list price, this car, so you do get stung with that £160 extra tax on it that the government have now introduced on the vehicle exercise duty. So whereas before you might have had a tax of fairly low of, say, I don't know, 150 quid, that then becomes £310 because you've got this sort of tax bonus on top, which I think's for the first 5 years of owning the vehicle, which is a bit naughty, but it is what it is, and you've just got to sort of accept that, or don't buy the car if you want to spend over 40 grand on a car. It's also got radar cruise control, which I think is great, because you can, obviously a lot of cars have it now, but you set it so 70 mile an hour, the car in front slows down, it slows down, they speed up, it speeds up, stays with the tolerance of that, and I think it just takes cruise control to the next level. And if you're driving cars with radar cruise control, and then you get in a car that's just got standard cruise control, you're thinking, oh, I'm getting a bit closer here now, and you've sort of forgot that you've got to adjust that, you know, it's, but it's just, they're a little bit noisy. The diesel engines are a little bit noisier on them than sort of some of the competition, and I think that's purely because they're, you know, they've not got the sound insulation and stuff that sort of a Range Rover would have, or that you know, a top-end Mercedes or a top-end Audi would have. They've, you know, that's just one of the negatives of it really. Aside from that, they're great. They're a 2.2 diesel, really economical. Sort of £60 fills it, and that does about 550 miles. They're just a great car, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who's in the market for a sort of SUV with 7 seats and everything that goes along with that. They're a fantastic car. So I think we'll leave that there for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Don't forget to ring that bell so you get notified of all the new content I drop. And I'll see you all very soon.